On June 21, 1971, while working inside Scythian Kurgan, the head of the expedition, Boris Mozilevsky, began to clear the dramas, where a large three-handled amphora standing against the wall had already been discovered. And it was there, almost at the transition from the dramas to the cell, that the archaeologist came across an improbable find, a pectoral. Boris Mozilevsky described this event in his work diary. It happened at 2:30 p.m. The pectoral was cleared on the spot, but it was all covered in clay mud. Then they lifted it up and washed it in a basin. Everyone immediately screamed and started kissing. Next to the pectoral in the middle of the dramas lay an iron sword with a hilt decorated with a gold plate. The sword was placed in a scabbard decorated on the front side with a gold plate with embossed images of animals. "No, that's enough for today," Boris Mozilevsky emotionally concluded his diary entry that day. Topsta Mogila was the name of the large Scythian royal kurgan of the 4th century BC that Boris Mozilevsky was excavating. It is situated in the Dnipro region of Ukraine, only 10 kilometers to the west of the famed Chertomlik discussed earlier on this channel. The central vault contained the remains of a Scythian nobleman. The vault had been looted in antiquity, and why such valuable objects were not in the chamber next to the deceased, but in the dramas remains a mystery. But it is likely that it was precisely this location that saved the pectoral and sword from the robbers. Mozilevsky suggested that by the time the thieves got into the tomb, the objects lying in the dramas were covered by soil that had collapsed from the vault. According to Mozilevsky, the looters even walked over the two treasures but did not notice them. The discovery of the pectoral caused an unprecedented sensation, especially in Scythian studies. The pectoral from Topsta Mogila is rightfully considered a unique work of ancient jewelry art in terms of its artistic design, manufacturing technology, and design features. Mozilevsky pointed out that the abundance of images depicted on the pectoral is unparalleled throughout the ancient monuments of Scythia. No less important is the virtuosity with which the artist has achieved the coordination between each image and its place in the composition. A massive yet elegant piece of jewelry is made of high-quality gold in the shape of a crescent moon with a diameter of 306 millimeters, with a total weight of 1149 grams. Its moon-shaped field is divided into 3 tiers by 4 twisted strands. Each tier of the pectoral is filled with sculptural images of different subjects. The top tier is believed to depict aspects of Scythian daily life. The middle tier presents various animals, and the bottom tier illustrates real and supernatural creatures. In the center of the bottom tier, griffins tear horses apart. On the sides, a fight between a wild boar and a deer with panthers and lions, then dogs chasing hares. The dynamic animal figures are full of life, the pain and doom of the horses, the despair of the boars, the rage and bloodthirstiness of the predators, each with its own unique character and emotional coloring. The horrific scenes of wild beast fights are completed by small figures of grasshoppers facing each other. The grasshoppers smoothly transport us to the world of blooming nature of the middle frieze, which connects the images of the 3 tiers into one perfect composition. The open-work interweaving of shoots and flowers of the central frieze, complemented by 5 miniature bird figures, enchants with its tranquility. The culminating plot of the entire work is the central scene of the upper tier, where 2 unarmed men, stripped to the waist, appear to be sewing wool clothing. To the right and left of them are depicted figures of domestic animals, cows, horses, sheep with their newborn babies, and between them are symmetrically arranged figures of 2 young Scythians. One milks a sheep, the other covers an amphora with a tuft of grass. The master realistically recreated the pictures of the peaceful life of the Scythians and completed them with figures of birds flying in all directions, creating the impression of the boundlessness of the steppe and, at the same time, the completeness of the idea. However, the uniqueness of the pectoral is not only in its unique artistic images, but also in the technical perfection of its execution. It seems that all the technical means known to ancient jewelers were used to make the ornament. This suggests that it could have been created in a jewelry workshop, with sophisticated equipment that corresponded to the highest achievements in the artistic processing of metals of the ancient world. The pectoral consists of over 160 parts. These are for frame harnesses, a channel-shaped border, paired holders, hinges, pins, braids, tips, rings, as well as cast figures of the upper and lower tiers, a floral ornament with sculptural images of birds of the middle tier. The advanced and complex technology of manufacturing pectorals involved several dozen technological operations: melting metal, manufacturing blanks of various shapes, gold sheets, wire, and their refinement to give them different diameters and profiles, cutting blanks of the required shape from sheets, cutting wire to the required size, making wax models of high relief or sculptural images, creating clay casting molds from wax models and casting itself, punching, forging of metal, stamping, engraving, drawing and twisting of individual parts, figured bending, figured cutting, preparation of solders and soldering, wire weaving, enameling, the complex process of assembling the entire product using various devices and wire, grinding, and so on. As an example, let us take a closer look at paired ornamental finials, which are typical of ancient jewelry art. Their general appearance and production technology are characteristic of hrivnas and bracelets found in Scythian kurgans of the northern Black Sea region. The pectoral finials consist of clips, high-relief endings in the form of lion heads, and movable connecting elements such as hinges and braid. The upper part of the holders is decorated with gold wires curved in the form of a floral pattern and edged with ribbed wire. From a technological point of view, braided chains that are made of thin wire with a diameter of 0.5 mm are interesting. The length of each, including the fastening in the holder, is about 10 mm, the width is 17 mm, thickness is 5 mm. The technology of weaving wire braid is similar to that of weaving threads, from which it was probably borrowed. Analysis of the dimensions of the braids and wire lengths of the chains made it possible to calculate the total length of gold wire used by the craftsmen to make them. It turns out that each wire braid was made of 18 double chains, the interweaving of which required at least 1 meter of gold wire, meaning that about 2 meters of wire was used to make 2 ribbons. One of the most striking features of the unique artistic design of the gold pectoral from Tofts to Mohila is the filling of its lower and upper tiers with miniature gold figures, which form complex compositional scenes. It has been proven impossible to produce miniature figures of the quality of the pectoral with a large number of small details by simply pouring metal into a mold. Because the gas released during the casting process inside the mold and the characteristics of the metal do not allow it to freely fill the smallest gaps and narrow channels without additional high pressure, which can only be created artificially. How ancient craftsmen generated the necessary pressure to cast such miniature products is currently unknown, and the secret of the lost wax casting technique still remains unsolved. It is in terms of craftsmanship and technological perfection. The pectoral is unparalleled not only among Scythian gold but also among all jewelry of antiquity. Its decoration is striking not only in the number of details, but also in its extraordinary miniature. For example, the dimensions of the bird figurines are only 5 by 13 millimeters. The goritos are 6 by 10. The grasshoppers are 7 by 13. The people are 25 by 20, and the horses are 18 by 60 millimeters. The size of many details is 1/15 or 20th of the size of the figurines themselves, so one can only imagine what delicate tools the jeweler used to create them. He was undoubtedly a master of miniatures, skillfully working in the millimeter range, possibly using magnifying lenses made of rock crystal. The accuracy of the figures and the skillful reproduction of the smallest details are mesmerizing. Creating figures of animals, the artist demonstrated a deep understanding of the peculiarities of their anatomy and behavior. It is illustrated by an almost photographic image of each animal. The faces, hairstyles, and physiques of the Scythians are individual and differ from each other. One scholar observed that the faces of the 2 central Scythians were executed with such precision that they were most likely depictions of real people. The pectoral was made not just by an extremely talented craftsman but also by one well acquainted with the life and customs of the Scythians. Boris Mozilevsky thought that the pectoral was made in the jewelry workshop of Panicapium, which is now the city of Kirk on the eastern shore of the Crimean Peninsula. Mozilevsky saw clear parallels between the scenes of pectoral with the scenes on the famed vase from the Chertomlik royal kurgan. Both the excavations of Chertomlik and the discussion of the vase are the subjects of the Royal Scythia, Greece, Kievru's book. A much simpler pectoral was discovered in the Bolshaya Bliznytsa kurgan situated on the east shore of the Azov Sea. Several elements of the pectorals from Tovsta Mohyla and Bolshaya Bliznytsa indicate that they may have been made by the same master or at least in the same workshop. The book Cradle of Civilizations tells the details of some amazing discoveries that the Bolshaya Bliznytsa excavations produced.